Hello, my name is Christopher Nichols, and I am in the Introduction to Graduate Studies in the College of Education class, University 501, and I'm going to be talking about professional dispositions today. So, to start with, what dispositions do I possess that make me a successful teacher? I'm outgoing. As my wife likes to say, she can't leave me alone for 5 minutes before I make a new friend. No matter where we go, I'm always meeting new people, outgoing, and I'm the same way with my students. Very outgoing, letting them know that they can come to me for anything. I'm also really big on instilling responsibility in my students. I think responsibility is one of the biggest things that we can give to our students, one of the biggest gifts, and oftentimes it's an area that they don't maybe have much experience in. And so one way that I really try to instill this sense of responsibility in my students is that I tell my students at the beginning of the year, all students can get an A in my class. You are the one that decides your grade, not me. I'm just the one that punches in the numbers. But in order to get that grade, you have to commit to it. You can't just show up each day, do the work when you feel like it, and expect to pass. You have to put in the effort. And if you don't put in the effort, you don't get the grade. But I also think this is an area that I need to work in. So what dispositions do I need to work in to grow as an educator? Well, I really need to work on not giving up on the most difficult of my students, the ones that really just fight me at every step of the way. I had an experience this last year where at the end of the year, I finally made a connection with one of my students. One very difficult student, he'd been struggling in every other class. I thought I made a connection with him earlier. He kind of fell back, and I didn't step up to work with him. I was distracted by other students' needs, and I felt really guilty because at the end of the year, I finally connected with him, and I finally found out what was going on. That was so much of a struggle for him. And so I realized at that point that I need to work on that. I can't just give up when I see the student give up. And I thought I had been good at that, but I realized I wasn't. So I think that's one of the areas that I need to work on the hardest, is to never back down on these students. Just always be there, always be pushing and helping them to the best of my possible ability. And then finally, what does a professional educator look like, and how do they behave? What standards guide their thinking and their actions? Well, I think, first of all, they need to behave in a kind and caring manner. We've all heard those stories of the teachers who are mean-spirited and angry all the time, and I kind of always question, why are you a teacher? I think if we want to be really successful teachers, we need to be kind and caring. And yes, we'll get angry every once in a while, but we have to put our students before us. And that's also, we have to want them to succeed more than ourselves even. I always tell my students that the greatest joy I could have in this profession is one day finding out that you did something amazing. I told them, I'm never going to go down in history books for anything, but you guys might. And if you do, I will be so happy because you are successful. And I really want my students to know that they can be successful and they should be successful. And them to know that that's the reason I do this job, is to help them become successful. And I think as teachers, we need to be guided by a sense of selflessness and servanthood. We have to put our students before ourselves. We can't let our own wants or desires be what guides us. It has to be the students. Always about the students. So that's what I think is required as the disposition for someone in our field of work. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great day.